Yeah, but all negotiations have their rhythm. There are periods where you can take your time, look carefully at the issues. There are periods where you have to crack the hard nuts. And we are in a period where the hard nuts of this negotiation has to be cracked.
Well, you have to crack the hard nuts in terms of issues, but do you also have to crack heads together in terms of the negotiators and the countries they represent?
That is true. All the negotiators around the table, and there are 150 of them, have mandates which come from their political constituencies. They are accountable to parliaments. They are accountable to constituencies. So they only can agree within the margins of negotiation which they have been given. Now, their job, my job, I'm not a negotiator. I'm a shepherd, maybe a conductor from time to time, very often a doctor. My job is to try and help them identifying the landing zone. My guess, my judgment is that the plane is running out of time, and in a negotiation the fuel is time. We have to land this plane.
But it doesn't look like it's going to succeed, does it? You've released, the WTO has put out there a document, I believe it's about 100 pages long, including your view of a possible draft agreement on both cutting agriculture tariffs and some manufactured good industrial tariffs. It's about 100 pages, and I understand there are hundreds and hundreds of bracketed issues which are yet to be agreed.
True. If things were so simple, I would not need ministers in town next week. Now, you're right. The core issues this time, the sort of locomotive for the rest of the train of the negotiation, is about agricultural tariffs, agricultural subsidies, and industrial tariffs. Why? Simply because the politics of this round, the way it was programmed, the political objective is to rebalance the international trading system in favor of developing countries.
It's the development round, that's what it's supposed to be all about.
Absolutely, and the reality is that if you look at tariffs, if you look at subsidies, if you look at industrial tariffs, the reality remains that many of the remaining high tariffs or many of the remaining high subsidies are in areas where developing countries want to expand their trade. They want to do that for growth, they want to do that for poverty reduction, and there is no way they can do that without these obstacles to trade being lowered.
Show some leadership then. Tell me, who needs to move most?
The three bits of the triangle need to move. The Europeans...
But with respect, that's dodging my very basic question. Are you saying it's entirely... They all have to move precisely the same amount?
Of course they don't have to move precisely the same amount.
So who needs to move most?
They have not tabled, at this stage, they haven't tabled the same offers. The EU have proposed to reduce their tariffs by a certain level. They'll have to top this up. The US have proposed to reduce their subsidies by a certain level. They'll have to top this up. Brazil, India has proposed to cut in some of their tariffs in manufactured goods. They have to top this up. Now, how much for each of the sides of the triangle is not for me to say.